Jay Gabler here, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter, with another special episode of the Duluth News Tribune Minute featuring my column, Front Row Seat. I was nowhere near the front in this event. In all honesty, you'll hear more about that in a second. It's the first time I ran an organized 5K. I did the thing during the pandemic where you did an independent 5K and you went off and ran by yourself and then posted on Instagram saying what your time was. But this is the first time I actually tried to run 5 kilometers in a pack with other people. Here's how it went. When I stepped into the corral for the start of the William A. Irvin 5K on June 16th, I wasn't sure where to position myself. Runners were asked to stand near signs indicating our expected pace, but I hadn't timed myself. Holding back well behind the serious runners, I found a spot between the sign indicating a 12-minute mile and the sign that simply said, walk. To my right was a child sporting mirrored sunglasses and a mullet. To my left were 3 runners wearing shirts that read, let's go slow, and let's go get Merlot. That seemed like about the right pace group for me. When I was living in Duluth as a kid, we never even went down to watch Grandma's marathon. It was the 80s, and my family had no interest in the running boom that had spurred the Duluth Marathon's launch in 1977. My dad would say, "Notice how you never see a jogger smiling?" I finally experienced my first Grandma's Marathon last year when I biked down to sip a Bloody Mary on the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center's deck and enjoy the festival atmosphere surrounding the event. While I'm still not a regular runner, I figured that if I could handle Duluth's hills on a bicycle, I had enough wind to give the 5K a try this year. Stretching my hamstrings in front of the deck arena before the race, I noticed how many people were wearing the William A. Irvin 5K shirts that had been issued with our running bibs. I figured that showing up to a race wearing the race shirt would be like being that one guy who shows up to a concert wearing the band's merch. I also considered adjusting my bib to the vicinity of my midsection like most of the other runners had done. I suppose the bibs were meant to go right up at chest level. Clearly, I had not considered the chafing risks. The time chip attached to my bib was definitely in working order. When I carried my packet through the chip testing station Friday morning, a staffer watched my name pop up on the display and gave me a very serious stare. "You are 47, she asked. I hope she wasn't thinking I'd accidentally inverted the numbers. The packet also contained official William A. Irvin 5K socks, and I did wear those to the race, hoping the low-cut style would add at least a trace of credibility to my dirty Adidas superstars. Not so much. Compared to the brightly hued, streamlined footwear my fellow runners wore, my shell-toe sneakers looked like the weighted boots on the Marine Museum's antique diving suit. When it came time for the national anthem, the faster runners faced a flag up front, while those of us in the back of the pack turned to doff our caps to the standard hanging from the stern of the Vista Star. Just then, a crew member preparing for the boat's next cruise emerged and did a double take when she saw hundreds of people standing on Harbor Drive wearing brightly colored synthetic fabrics and staring somberly in her direction. When the anthem concluded, the DJ dropped the Killer's Mr. Brightside, our true national anthem, some might say, and we were off. I'd been prepared for a waterside scene like something out of Chariots of Fire, but I was gratified to see that the run commenced more on the lines of a collective shuffle. On the urgency scale, the start of the 5K had about the same energy as the gates opening at All Pints North. The mood was equally buoyant, perhaps in part because our 5K finish also had bayfront beer tents. A trumpeter standing under the Interstate 35 overpass played rally songs, including the Champs' Tequila. I did as much of Pee Wee Herman's Big Shoe Dance as I could manage without breaking stride. We were surrounded by so much joyful exuberance as we pattered our way onto the lake walk, I wondered if anyone had told the marathoners they could have skipped the first 23 miles and just done the fun part. The answer is yes, actually. According to a show of hands, dozens of 5K participants were warming up for the big event Saturday morning. By the time we were approaching the lift bridge, I was rounding the corners like Kent Herbeck after his World Series Grand Slam. I was slapping high fives, offering jaunty salutes, and giving more thumbs up than Siskel and Ebert at a Scorsese festival. When I crossed the finish line, I threw my arms shamelessly in the air, grinning widely. In addition to all that approbation, my rewards included a weighty medal and a drink ticket. Well earned, I told myself. Over the course of the run, according to my Apple Watch, I generated enough continuous power to illuminate an average-sized string of Christmas lights. The glow lasted at least until I got home and my email pinged with an extremely detailed analysis of my race results. I ended up finishing in 1,332nd place overall, I learned, at an average pace of 11 minutes and 44 seconds per mile. I was followed through the finish line by 820 people, including 24 men, also age 45 to 49. I passed 201 runners, sorry kids, but was passed by 183 more. I found myself wondering, could I have pushed myself a little harder? Could I have broken an 11.5-minute mile? If I'd really laid on the juice, could I have squeezed past just one more venerable 49-year-old man or even a spry young 45-year-old? What if I'd, trained? Well, maybe I'll find out next year. Regardless, I'm now the proud recipient of a medal, a certificate, a running shirt, 2 souvenir socks, and 46 watermarked marathon photo images, including an unwitting photobomb of a couple fellow participants who posed proudly with their medals while I gasped for air in the background. A finisher. That's the column for this week. I'll be back next week with what I have learned about a controversial question regarding where the North Shore begins and ends. Until then, I'm Jay Gabler, Duluth News Tribune.